Why, hello and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your hosting guy, Zollin Ironshield, and I have a fun theory video right now for RiseToWar fans out there, and I would love your comments about this, okay? And I'm your hosting guide, as always. I was thinking about a fun game mode, okay? So I was commenting on my last RiseToWar video that I really liked how they extended this for the Kingdoms game mode, more land. I think that it would be very cool if they extended out slightly to the right or north. Right? And here's the big one, though. Here's the clincher for this video, okay? What about a game mode that had Numenor? Now, I know Numenor is way out there normally, like out in the sea, a lot farther, realistically, from a geographical point of view, and I do like that they're realistic on this, but what if they just moved it in this area, there was a Numenor out here on the left, right? And it could be a special game mode, it could be the Kings of Men game mode, right? So here's the few ideas, okay? And you guys leave your comments, see what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well. But what if the Numenor is out there? It's a couple regions, maybe split up into like 4 or 5 regions, kind of like it is in the lore. And maybe the Ring of Power could be on that island, like a Numenor game mode, right? Or there's multiple Rings of Power still, just like the Kingdoms mode. And instead of Dol Guldur, it's out on Numenor, right? So you still all start here. No one starts on Numenor, let's say, for this particular idea. Maybe some people could in other game modes, but no one can start there, but that's where the ring is. And there's spots all along the shore, maybe even more than just the keep itself. So like you could say maybe it could be Fordelon Keep, Grey Havens, that kind of stuff. But what if there were like crossings you could capture, like all along the shore in certain spots, right? All along whatever the shore is, you know, all the way down. Even maybe one down here, like maybe 5 to 10 different spots, and they all are different locations that you can travel to Numenor. Now, again, if you think about it, maybe they'd have to make them all the exact same distance of travel time, or maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they would make them longer depending on that time. But you could travel across with a rally, with whatever. You know, it'd take you like 30 minutes to get there or something. Or maybe they could lower it because it'd be closer, you know, a little bit closer to the shore than it would be in the actual lore. But it would be fun because you'd all have to get out there and start fighting over the ring, right? And they could make certain all the different spots could go to different spots around the island. So there's like different sections. I don't know, they'd have to make just 5 big sections or make it like maybe a lot more factional spots. Maybe make it like more like Eriador, where there's like 5 or like 10 different locations to take, and then the ring's in the middle, right on the mountain or something. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think that would be really cool for a game on RiseToWar. I'm like stoked. Like I want them to do it now, and I hope that they see this. So you guys should like the video and subscribe, and try to get it out to them, because I think it'd be a really cool idea for a game mode. Maybe make the map a little bigger. And as I talked about in my previous other video a few weeks ago too, I was saying, what about with the Kingdoms game mode, if they were going to, let's go away from the one I was just talking about with Numenor. Let's say they were going to use Numenor in the Kingdoms game mode, like an updated version of Numenor. Numenor, you know, Kings of Men Numenor edition or something. I don't know. But they could add a couple more rings. There could be 2 rings on the island and the 1 ring, or leave the 1 ring here and have a couple rings on Numenor, and you could start on Numenor, right? And it's just another area, kind of making the ocean more land than just random ocean, right? I also think it'd be cool if they added 2 more rings to make it 10 rings in the 1 ring, so 10 capturable capital rings, and then the 1 ring, right, as 11th ring. But I think they should add more people to the game too. And as I talked about in my one video, where I think they probably should go back to having 5 fellowships in 1 kingdom. If they don't want to do that, another way they could fix that is to add more people on the server, because their whole goal of originally having 3 fellowships instead of 5 was to make it where there'd be more kingdoms. But unfortunately, I feel like it kind of did the opposite, even though that was their goal. From what I'm seeing in a lot of servers and playing a lot, it's kind of having the opposite effect, which I have a video on that already. But without going into it too much, maybe they could just add 2 more rings and add more people to be able to join the Kingdoms of Men game mode, because that would cause then there to be more kingdoms that are created, because there's only, you know, you'd have a lot more fellowships that are bigger fellowships then too. And the big thing that happens, unfortunately, I think with having 3 instead of 5, is that a lot of the big fellowships group up, you know, and there's not that many big fellowships that can fit on one server. So a lot of the little fellowships get left in the cold. Where I thought when there was 5, it wasn't, you couldn't quite have 10 and 10 big fellowships. So what would happen is you'd get like 3 or 4 big fellowships in both groups, and then you'd have 1 or 2 little ones join, right, to the other groups. And again, I know that the whole goal was to try to split it up and make more kingdoms, but I feel like that's not really happening because since last season, we still have about 3 kingdoms, just like we did last time. And I think it's just because of the limit of players on that server. So I think that could be a cool thing to do. Increase the limit of players, make 2 more rings, and then that's just for kingdoms and game mode. But then what about, on another thought, what about a kingdom, a game, or a totally new game mode with Numenor out here? And then maybe expand and make it even a bigger Middle-earth. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. I don't know if they have the rights to that. I know they have the rights to New Line Cinema, but I feel like they should be able to use Numenor, the island. Maybe they just change this look a little bit or something. I don't know if it's the right thing to the map. I don't know if there's a problem with rights to the map or whatever, but I think that would be really, really cool. I think there's just the ideas of having port cities to capture, or that you can only leave from certain cities like this one. This one would be really important then because it's the closest, maybe it's the fastest to get to Numenor, so everyone wants to get to that point. Or maybe this one is one of the faster ones, Fortalin or the Grey Havens, right? And then, you know, of course, Umbar would be a really good ring or city to have because it'd be a good way to get there fast. Or Dol Amroth. There's a lot of strategic battling ideas there that I think would just be really, really cool. And I would be stoked if this is a thing in the next year or two in this game, that we see something with Numenor or an extended map more than just Harad like they did. Even though I love that they added Umbar and Harad and extended it out, because Umbar was on this island for a while, right? It was in the wrong spot. So then the Kings of Game Mode, they moved it to the right spot and gave more land. And I love that they did that. I thought it was awesome, which is kind of why I love the Kings of Men game mode more than almost the other game modes, even though the other ones are really fun too. But it'd be fun to have a big map on the other game modes with the factions too. So again, lots of ideas there, lots of matching they could do between all those ideas, right? Different game modes, Kings of Game Mode, a brand new game mode with Numenor, different crossings, maybe a different ability to travel far distances, and each of those have their own locations on the island of Numenor. Maybe the Ring of Power is on the island of Numenor, maybe it's not, maybe it's just some regular rings if it's like the Kings of Game Mode and still Dulguldur is the important spot. Or they move this ring, right? Maybe this ring ends up being right here or something, or in Isengard, somewhere more in the middle if they added the island, right? So it's more centered, right? Or, you know, or some its own special place, right? The ring is in Gollum's cave. Like, there's a special new spot, right? I don't know. Those are my ideas. What do you guys think? You guys have a great and wonderful day in Middle-earth. Thank you to my patrons. Thanks to Skumley for being a royal guard. I mean, the support's awesome. Subscribe button's there if you like Rise to War or anything Tolkien. We do Lotra on this channel too. Lots of cool things. We're doing some events right now for the time of this video. Next episode's up there, Rise to War, and Lotra Tale of voiceovers over there. Check them out. Have a great day in Middle-earth. I'll see you all in the next episodes of Voice of the Rings. Baruch Kazad, Kuzad, I menu. See you guys. Leave your comments. What do you think of these ideas? I think it'd be really cool.